Appreciate your help with that. Just see me afterwards, I suppose, to take care of that. What else we got on the list tonight? That's just some of the activity that's going on. I had a couple of things I was going to talk about tonight, but I'm going to kind of shorten what I normally do so that we can let our speaker go a little longer and then spend some time with our special guest. But I do want to see if I can get through one thing with you and talk about it, but I don't know if I'm even going to do it because I'm going to ask the folks in the back row, can you read any of those numbers on that screen?
No.
No.
Yes.
You can't? Some yes and some no.
Yes, fairly.
5.6. Oh, well, if the lights were out, I could read it.
Yeah. Turn the lights up.
You want to try that? All right, this is kind of interesting. These girls, I went through with them a while ago, and they thought it was kind of interesting. So if you don't mind, indulge me for a bit. I'm going to have to actually do it from back here, too. And I know how to operate the lights. All right. Now, how many of you have heard them say that we can't tax our way out of debt, right? We've all heard that. We can't tax our way out of debt. But what did they do at the beginning of the year? Raise taxes. So we know that's not going to work. We've heard that we can't cut anything because when we put together this whole sequester thing, that's actually going to not cut anything, but it's going to slow the increase in spending. Not 1 cent is going to get cut and sequestered. You guys know that? You guys know that, right? They're just going to slow the rate of spending. And you'd think the world was going to come to an end. So we can't seem to get anybody to cut spending. So what's the other thing they tell us we're going to do? We're going to grow our way out of debt. All right? So I got in an argument with people on Gary Russ's website over here and, about a lot of stuff. I'm on there. They tell me I don't have a job. And one of the guys said, we need to grow our way out of debt. And I got to think, well, what's that look like? So me being a computer geek and kind of a numbers cruncher sometimes, I decided to look into it and see what that was going to be like. And it's terrifying as far as I'm concerned, all right? So what I did was I went to a White House website. This is all just spreadsheets off the White House website. And I went and looked back in history, and in the 80s we had some pretty big spending increases, but that was Reagan, so our GDP was going up quite a bit, right? In the 90s we had Clinton, so they gutted the military, right? So we didn't have as much spending increase. The GDP went up, not as much, but it still went up. Mostly under Bush, we see that we spent a lot. We didn't grow as much. And then in fantasy land here, for 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, they're telling us that somehow we're going to go from basically no growth or negative growth that we have right now to some magical 5.1% increase in growth. So I put an average of that together, and it looks like over the past 40 years, our average spending increase and our average GDP increase has been 5.6%. So what does that look like? If we start at the beginning of the year with $16 trillion in debt, can you guys see that okay? All right. We collect $2.9 trillion in taxes. We spend $3.8 trillion because we can't spend less than we take in. We're going to have a new debt. We're going to have a new debt of $17 trillion. And here our GDP is increased to this year, and it goes up by 5.6% every year. All right. So you get down here to year 2025, $31 trillion GDP, that's a lot. That's twice what we've got now, right? Assuming it grows at 5.6%, which, we know that's going to happen because the rate of growth is 1% now. But look at what happened to taxes. $5 trillion in 2025. $5 trillion were given to the federal government. But you know what the bad news about this is? It never pays off the debt at this rate. Never, ever pays off the debt. So I'm going to disappear back here and punch a few numbers right there. And Fred will excuse me.